Change may not be easy, but it can lead to improvement and growth for you as a financial professional. Thomas Moneta began this podcast, Behind the Curtain, to share the changes he's made since he moved to a new custodial platform, Altruist, and the resulting organic growth that it has unlocked. I'm Patrice Sikora. So Thomas, in a previous show, you actually interviewed founder and CEO of Altruist, Jason Wenk. Mm-hmm. Tell me about your experience with the platform over the past 18 months.
Yeah, I think to begin, this is not something I'm being compensated for by Altruist. This is something that truly is just my personal experience with the platform and how much it has changed me in 18 very short months. And so earlier this week, I was thinking about, what we were going to talk about. And I was just going to stick to my experience, on a number of other financial firms and how Altruist is different and how it's better. And then yesterday I started thinking about organic growth because I've been talking about it a lot with people and how difficult it is for financial advisors to grow organically. And this morning there was a LinkedIn post from the CEO of Schwab where he was defending a commercial that they have out that has this character, Carl the broker, in it. And he was speaking to a room full of RIAs that custody at Schwab. And that really, to me, it was just this huge signal that here's the custodian, one of the two largest custodians, Schwab and Fidelity. The CEO is openly saying that he's not competing against RIAs, and that this commercial is not meant to be a signal that they're competing against them. But in essence, it is, because what it says is it's disparaging the old world of wirehouse brokers. That's what Carl the broker is. He's this unsavory wirehouse broker guy. But then they go on later in that commercial to say that Schwab is a modern approach to wealth management, which isn't actually true. So in essence, they're actually lying to the public because they're not actually a full service wealth management firm. They have branch consultants that are not allowed to be full service financial advisors. They have they have a wealth management group in Westlake, Texas, but it's not the same as an independent advisor who works directly with clients and understands and can help them with everything. And so in essence, that commercial really is, subtly a message to say that we can do everything that the old wirehouse brokers could do, but do it better. And that's directly in competition with independent advisors who custody there. And it doesn't seem like it's that, but it really is that message. And so how that relates to Altruist is that Altruist only does one thing. They just help independent RIAs. And so having come from that world where I did custody at Schwab, and now that I'm at a place where that doesn't happen, there's a whole new world that's opened up to me. And it's a message that helps me and is going to help me grow organically. And I think that a lot of people are missing that point, or they're not keenly aware of it, because having someone that supports you rather than that is competing against you, it really allows you to be more of your authentic self. We've talked about that, and we've talked about how much that I've experienced that. But having this new message where I can amplify my message on platforms like Finney, we had Eden as a guest on 2 weeks ago, and having this pure alignment with my clients at a custodial platform like Altruist means that I'm actually advertising the best part of myself, and I'm not trying to in any way, the way that I'm not trying to sell products. I'm not trying to talk about my tech stack or whatever. I'm just amplifying that message that I'm here to help without hurting clients, and I have a partner in Altruist that supports that. So, I mean, that's something that's never existed before. And I think that, the more people understand what the potential is for them, the more people will be attracted to it. Because I think AI is going to change the game for everybody. And the value add that you'll have when everything does change is that human connection. And if you're not authentic, if you're not in a situation where you have the support of your custodian, and they're helping you drive the most optimal outcomes for your clients, then you're shortchanging yourself. The custodian doesn't respect you, and then therefore you're not bringing your authentic self really to the table. And I think that's the kind of thing that clients will want, and it's the kind of thing that will drive organic growth, because you're just promoting this very positive message, and you're helping people without hurting them.
All right. You in the past have talked about your experiences coming through the ranks, and how you feel, as you say, authentic and free almost with Altruist. What makes that difference, though? What was the turning point when you said, "Wow, this is what I need"?
Well, I think it was obviously one of the three women that we talked about in earlier episodes. The one that stands out is the client that I have known for 18 years. I've known her, and her husband ran everything, and he passed away in the summer of 24, right when I had started. And then when I met with her, and I went to go see her, and I was having these wonderful conversations with her, and she could just sense right away that there was something different about me, that I was not the same person that I was a year prior. And since then we've developed this incredible relationship. That was the real aha moment right there, because I realized that I no longer had that. I didn't feel like that existential risk coming from the custodian or from my employer, because I was, number one, I was an owner of my firm, and secondarily, but equally important, I was working with a custodian that was really helping me a lot, and that was just so interested in my success. I think that was the big change, and the more I reflect on all the other past experiences, the more I realize that this kind of relationship with a custodian was never promised before. And, I think a lot more people need to understand what it, can do for them.
All right. You had Jason Wenk on, the founder and CEO of Altruist. Great conversation, by the way. Listeners, you should go back and check out that episode. And he talked about some changes that might be coming too.
Yeah.
You want to talk about those?
So I think it's really telling that Jason Wenk is out there talking about the very real possibility that there could be a solo advisor that manages upwards of $1 billion without any employees. I mean, it's really amazing to even think about that, being that I'm a solo advisor. But I think it's really telling that he's the only one that's doing that. He's the only CEO that's doing that. You don't hear that from Schwab. You don't hear it from Fidelity. You don't hear it from, any of the wirehouses for sure, because they don't have the capability to do it. And so I think what that, behind that message is that the technology at Altruist, which we talked about in that interview, how his API is vertically integrated and how the other firms are not, will allow that to be a possibility. And if that happens, and I happen to believe it will, because he's built 2 multi-billion-dollar firms himself, and now he's building Altruist, and he would know better than anyone. Once that happens, what is that going to do to the whole industry? Because if you are working for a multi-billion-dollar RIA, you don't have control over your business, completely. You have to give up some level of agency because you're in a team environment. And so if you can scale your firm up to a number like that and control everything and do it in a way where you're helping people and you have the support of a custodian that wants you to succeed and do that, why wouldn't you do that?
That's my question. Why aren't people looking at Altruist or even other? Are there any other platforms that offer the freedom?
There aren't any other platforms that support you the way that Altruist does. There are none that do that. They're not built that way. And But I think that the real opportunity is going to be when all of these tools, these AI tools, are integrated into their platform, and you can do so much more than you can do now by yourself and control it all, and just be able, and you're promoting this idea of helping people without hurting them, because that's what the platform is all about. Altruist is the perfect name for it. And so, I just think that once, if that happens within 3 years, I think everyone's going to want to do it.
Well, this really means a big mindset change for advisors or financial professionals. Do you think everybody's capable of it?
Well, I think that I think that what's going to happen is that AI is going to take away all the things that formerly were, your selling points. You just, you had the best products or the best research or the best, you had the best technology or whatever. And, you're just going to be left with, what you can provide in terms of being face to face with clients and the human side of advice and connecting with people on an emotional level. Because of that, I think that there's going to be, that's where the demand will come from the clients, because that's what they'll want. They'll want to have that. And if you're not set up in a way that's completely authentic and you're trying to present that, I think that that will be revealed and you won't be as successful. And I think the other thing that I wanted to touch on was that the conflicts that exist now and that permeate the industry that have forever, those will be, there'll be too much for firms to deal with, because, clients won't want that and won't need it.
Such as?
Well, I mean, if you have a firm that's built on a sales culture that is only interested in selling you products that are suitable, there's a better way for you to manage your finances. And that's with someone that's truly aligned with you, that cares about your overall holistic well-being, and is not just interested in some suitability standard for a product sale. And I think that RIAs will definitely be going in that direction.
Again, how long do you think this will take, though? And again, I just don't see that everybody has the ability to make that leap, that change.
Right. And I think that, well, there's a lot of advisors that say that they are, that say they can't leave the firm that they're with, right, or they can't make the change. Yeah. But a lot of those, a lot of that friction is because of the structure of the deals that they've made with those employers. And so you see a lot of firms now. Every day I get an email from Advisor Hub where it says that this firm landed at another firm, or this firm snagged another firm. And what they're actually doing is they're selling their business. They're selling a piece of their business to someone else, and they're going to a different platform and getting paid. And what that does, often it ties them into a certain like 10-year note where they have to stay. And so they have to stay there to fulfill their obligation for that money that they were paid up front. And so, I think, monetizing clients like that, paying for referrals through a referral network like the ones at Schwab and Fidelity, I just think that those things are going to be less. I mean, over the next, 3 to 5 years, they'll become, less prevalent, because if there's $1 billion advisor out there working by himself, why would you not want to do that? I mean, it's just, it's the best of all worlds. Everyone wins. The client wins, the advisor wins, the custodian wins, and all you're doing is helping people and creating a legacy for yourself. So I just feel like that is, if you're going to be serious about being independent and being an advisor, I think that's where the industry is going. Or at least I hope it is. I'm hopeful, but I've been proven wrong before. I would have thought that, wirehouses would have been gone a long time ago, but they persist. So I don't, again, this idea of what's going to happen, with artificial intelligence at Altruist in the next 18 to 24 months, that's going to be the driver. That's going to be the game changer, because, the other firms won't be able to do it.
Talk to me about that.
So it's what, it's everything that we talked about with Jason about how you can have agentic assistants, at the custodial level, helping you with everything. They can answer your emails. They can answer your phone calls. They can answer they can set up meetings for you. You'll have AI note takers that transcribe your notes and then put all that stuff into your CRM. And so it's all being done behind the scenes for you. And all these things used to be things that you would have to manually do, or you have to manually do now, but that all of those things will be, you won't have to do that. And so you can just focus on the relationship. You can focus on being face to face with more people and helping more people because, it won't be, you won't have to do all those things yourself. And that goes along, and that extends to other things like, investment planning and tax planning and wealth planning. All of those different silos will talk to each other at the custodial level, and you'll have the ability the experience will be much richer for the client because, you'll be able to see everything in real time in one app. And, and then you can help guide them. And instead of it being all in separate places, it's just one place. And I think that's going to be the driver. I hope it happens within 18 to 24 months. It seems like it is. There's changes happening so fast, already. So, it looks like it's something that's on the way.
Let me ask you this. Does this need to be taught in school for new advisors coming up? I mean, how are they going to, in the past, they've had, specific routes that they took to get into the business.
Yeah.
How do you jump into the business with something that is so almost open and free form?
So this is a great example of where I think if you look down the road at what may happen, if someone's able to get to $1 billion, right? That's kind of like getting to 250 million now by yourself. You're pushing the limits on what you can do by yourself. And so let's say if someone gets to $1 billion and they feel that same pressure and that's kind of the limit for them. What if at that point they hire a junior advisor who's let's say they just got out of graduate school, and they say, you know what, we'd like you to stay with us for 5 years. We're going to train you. I'm going to train you on everything. We're going to teach you how to run a business. We're going to teach you how to use all of these tools. We're going to set up a podcast for you to build content for the next 5 years. And when that 5-year term is up, then you spin that advisor off into their own independent practice. And, you've been hiring someone every year. And so the idea is you're building this pipeline internally where you're just minting owners every 5 years. And so along the way, those junior advisors help you grow beyond $1 billion. Right. And so you are hiring people, but it's different. You're not hiring them and then giving them equity 20 years later. You're saying that we're going to train you to go out and, and to own your own business, because that's the way that you can build this healthy ecosystem where everyone's actually, you're helping clients along the way and without hurting them. And, there aren't these conflicts. And, I think again, everybody wins. The advisor that went to $1 billion is now maybe at $2 billion or $3 billion. And he has 5 junior advisors, and every year he's, minting an owner. And so, those kind of numbers they're insane to think about, but it could happen. And I think that would be a way that you could train young advisors, because there really isn't, now. Yeah. I mean, you can, it's the same story. You can sell insurance to get into the business. You can work for a discount brokerage firm. There aren't really training programs anymore like there used to be, but you can intern at a big RIA, or you could get a junior advisory role there. But there isn't an opportunity to learn how to be an owner. And I think that's the key. If we could set that up as an industry, and of course the onus is on the industry to do that. But, if we could do that, I think it leads to, some amazing outcomes.
Well, that brings up a whole nother question. How is the industry, is the industry embracing this idea?
Not right now.
Yeah.
Not right now. And I don't.
That's fair. But it's new.
It's new, but I don't think that the second and third order effects of AI are really being I haven't heard it discussed like this. I mean, people are starting to really, see the writing on the wall, because, every new wrinkle, it makes the future look that much more clear. First it was an AI note taker, and now you actually have Hazel is the internal like LLM at Altruist, and they have it, and no one else has one. But they have one. Okay. It's like a chat GPT inside of on the platform. And it's already helping you run your practice, helping you, manage your note taking and your CRM and your meetings already. And that's the past 3 months. And the changes that are coming in the next year, I think will be even more impactful. And so I think that's the way it changes. It's like suddenly and then all at once, right? So
builds up the steam, and then it all goes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, Thomas, you certainly sound excited about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the kind of thing that I just, I didn't see coming. I didn't realize when I started out, my firm, and I didn't realize the effect that Altruist was going to have on me. And it's made me a much happier person, made me a much better advisor. And I can't be more thrilled to see what's going to happen next, because I don't really have a favorable opinion about those old legacy firms. Having worked at almost all of them, and the experiences that I had were pretty difficult, especially in the beginning. It was, it was the kind of thing where, you really didn't matter, and the client didn't really matter. It was just produce, and you eat what you kill, and, sell. And, the interests of the client were really not paramount. That's for sure. So I feel lucky to be here. And incredibly grateful to be here.
All right. So what have we not covered that you wanted to make sure you mentioned in this episode?
I just wanted to talk about the importance of starting a podcast. I wanted to talk about the importance of having content. I was so lucky to have found you guys, and I was so lucky that that you and I have been working together and on this journey, because I knew nothing about podcasting. I didn't know where it was going to go, and the effects of it have been extraordinary. They've been, and it's not even a year old yet. And I know that the expectation is 18 to 24 months before you really get some traction. So, but I think that if you are an advisor and you're struggling with organic growth, your first step is starting a podcast. It has to be. You have to get a podcast started. And the best thing to do is, in my opinion, to start your own firm at Altruist and start putting out the message that you know how to help people without hurting them. And you build that content. And in 2 years, you're going to have an audience that understands you and will find you. And you will, you'll find that organic growth that is so frustrating now, because, with tools that we had Finney on, and that, because of the podcast, that platform works for me. It's because I have content and I can put it inside those emails on my marketing campaigns, that I bring value, that I add value immediately. Before I even have a conversation with you, you're seeing that I'm adding value constantly. Every single week, you're seeing and then you have YouTube, and you have all these other ways to amplify your message. But the first step has to be podcast. Definitely.
Well, I won't say no to that. That's for sure.
Right.
I am glad, though, that you feel that way, and that you believe you are getting results. Mm-hmm. You have been a great partner here. You do what you need to do. You work hard at it, and it shows.
Yeah, I didn't know where it was going to go. In the beginning, it was really frustrating, and that's what was promised, and that's what it was like. And now it seems like we've got some momentum now, and we're going to have some great guests coming on in the next few months. So I'm just so excited about it, and it's awesome. And you guys helped me with my LinkedIn profile. And I think there's an episode coming out next week. with Natasha. Tasha's going to do something on that, and I'm a part of it. So because I was thrilled what they did. So awesome. Thank you.
And for Proudmouth, I say you're welcome. Now, how can people reach you, Thomas?
Thomas at monettawealth.com. You can find my website at monettawealth.com, or check out my YouTube channel, Behind the Curtain Finance, and subscribe, please.
All right, fantastic. All right, folks, be sure to like, follow, and of course, share this podcast. That way you're going to know when a new episode's ready for you. And Thomas has some good ones coming up. I'm Patrice Sikora, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you for listening to Behind the Curtain Finance. Click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. Visit our website at www.monettawealth.com or give us a call at 415-640-2121. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Monetta Wealth. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning. Copyright 2025. This content, which contains security-related opinions and/or information, is provided for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon in any manner as professional advice or as an endorsement of any practices, products, or services. There can be no guarantees or assurances that the views expressed here will be applicable for any particular facts or circumstances and should not be relied upon in any manner. You should consult your own advisors as to legal, business, tax, and other related matters concerning any investment. The commentary in this post, including any related blog, podcasts, videos, and social media, reflects the personal opinions, viewpoints, and analyses of the Monetta Wealth Management employees providing such comments and should not be regarded as the views of Monetta Wealth Management LLC or its respective affiliates, or as a description of advisory services provided by Monetta Wealth Management or performance returns of any Monetta Wealth Management investments client. References to any securities or digital assets or performance data are for illustrative purposes only and do not constitute an investment recommendation or offer to provide investment advisory services. Charts and graphs provided within are for informational purposes solely and should not be relied upon when making any investment decision. Past performance is not indicative of future results. The content speaks only as of the date indicated. Any projections, estimates, forecasts, targets, prospects, and/or opinions expressed in these materials are subject to change without notice and may differ or be contrary to opinions expressed by others.